This is the Fox 54 special presentation. Sports Extra, a look at SWAC 2023. Now your hosts Mo Carter, Nick Kuzma, and Simon Williams.
Everyone, football season is oh so close on the collegiate level. And for our SWAC fans, we've got you covered with our annual SWAC XTRA Special. Yes, a look at SWAC 2023 or something of that nature. Mo Carter, Nick Kuzma, Simon Williams are ready to get everybody prepared for the upcoming season. And Simon, you're going to hook us up with those preseason polls.
Absolutely. Let's get things started. Here's a look at the preseason poll compiled by the league's head coaches and sports information directors. We begin in the West, where Arkansas Pine Bluff, as everyone besides Pine Bluff, received at least one first-place vote. But even still, Southern is your preseason favorite. And over in the East, even though it's same kind of thing, all but Bethune-Cookman receiving at least two first-place votes. Florida A&M is the decided top pick. Alabama A&M is predicted to finish fourth. We're here in Huntsville, so let's start off with the hometown team. Nick, what do you got?
Yeah, we're absolutely kicking off with the Alabama A&M Bulldogs. For the second summer in a row, questions swirl as to who the team's starting quarterback will be. As of the time this show was recorded, 3 guys are in line for the job.
Starting with the newcomer, Cornelius Brown IV. Brown is a redshirt junior that comes to A&M after time at Georgia State and Tennessee Martin. He says the other quarterbacks welcomed him with open arms.
What I like is that we reflect off each other. We don't gatekeep. Quincy and X, they do a great job of helping me out with things that I don't know about the offense because they've been in it a little bit longer. It is a competition. All of us want to be that quarterback one on September 2nd, but we do a great job of helping each other out, and that's how you really make that room better.
Quincy Casey's another guy in the running for the job, also a redshirt junior. Casey is heading into his 3rd season at Alabama A&M after starting his college career at Jackson State. He split time under center last year and missed the spring season while recovering from torn labrum surgery.
It's always heartbreaking not being on the field with your team, but I learned from it. It humbled me a lot, and I'm ready to go crazy this year.
The other guy up for QB1 is redshirt junior Xavier Langford. He split time with Casey last year, and he's entering his 4th season on the Hill. This is what he learned while playing in 2022.
We can't just keep shooting ourselves in the foot, really, with penalties and turnovers. I just got to do my job every play and be consistent, because if I'm consistent, we got the best O-line in the nation. We got first-team all-star running back, great receivers. If I just do my job, we'll be great regardless.
An interesting note, the Bulldogs have 3 former quarterbacks on staff, with head coach Kyle Maynor, offensive coordinator Dwayne Taylor, and QB coach Jason Mai. Here's what Coach Taylor has to say about the competition.
Well, Quincy Casey, he throws a great ball. He can put the ball anywhere he wants to. Quad has all the skill set. He can run, he's big, he's tall. Quad could be a pro quarterback. He just had to settle his feet a little bit. And Xavier is just a leader. He knows where to go with the football. He can run the ball efficiently when we have to. And he knows the offense better than the other guys. He's been here 4 years.
Well, Coach Maynor has made it clear it's possible A&M could play 2 quarterbacks in week 1, but as the countdown to the Bulldogs' regular season opener turns from weeks to days, I asked each QB to give their own pitch as to why they should lead the offense in 2023.
It's not all about just making the big plays or running the football or making big throws. It's making the right decision. I feel like with my experience and what I've been able to do at the collegiate level, I've learned how to make the right decision.
I feel like the guys rally behind me. I get all 10 people on the same page most of the time, and when we're out there, we're having fun, we look good, we feel good, and we're flying around playing good.
Preparation and just knowing what you're going to get when I'm on the field, just being a steady hand and managing the team and doing what I'm supposed to do.
All right, whoever will be Alabama A&M starting quarterback will have lots of support up front. During the preseason, it's been pretty clear that the Bulldogs' strength on offense will lie within the trenches. 2023 Alabama A&M offensive line is the most experienced unit ever in the Kyle Maynor era. Most of these guys have been together for a few years now, and they are ready to protect their soon-to-be named starting QB when the season starts. Offense coordinator Dwayne Taylor is very optimistic about his guys up front.
Well, they're playing great. John Williams, our right tackle, has started over 35 games. Carson Vincent, our left tackle, has started over 35 games. So they're playing great. They just have to continue to bring the younger guys along. Just trying to stay healthy at this point. We know who we got up front. We know we want to run the ball first, be a passing team second. So they're doing a great job. We just got to stay consistent.
The big dogs up front will also be responsible for opening gaping holes for this guy, Donovan Eaglin. Last season, Michigan State transfer rushed for 873 yards and 6 scores. He earned second-team All-SWAC honors in 2022. Now, last week, he was named to the preseason watch list for the Deacon Jones Trophy. The sophomore rusher explained why the Bulldogs will be successful in 2023.
Our whole offense is going to be clicking, offensive line, receiver, quarterback play, everybody. And I feel like that just goes with us bonding and getting better together and just communicating and having that connection this year. I feel like last year it was a kind of lack of leadership and connection with the whole team. And I feel like this year, since we was more younger last year, now that we older, I feel like we got that connection back, getting a bunch of our guys back this year.
Now let's look at the other side of the ball. It's a defensive unit for Alabama A&M, but like to make major improvements in 2023. While reorganizing the offense in the post-Akil Glass era might feel like the primary reason for Alabama A&M's struggles in 2022, bad play on defense allowed games to get out of control. The Bulldogs finished with a defense ranked 10th out of 12 in the SWAC in yards allowed, but more troubling was a penchant for giving up points and field positioning. The task of improvement falls on second-year defensive coordinator Keenan Bolware.
We're ahead of the game. This is the second year of implementing this system. Therefore, the learning curve is a little sharper. We got some new guys, so you're having to double back on a little bit. The guys who are here, they got it. They're getting it. That's the most difficult thing about a coaching game nowadays is taking 110 different personalities and trying to mesh them all together for a common goal. But right now, I would say we're ahead of the game, ahead of pace of where we were from the year before. Everybody's buying in, slowly but surely. But this chemistry thing we're working on is a day-to-day process.
Head coach Connell Maynor voiced support for Bolware, saying with the scheme in place, it's now about personnel.
For what his scheme is, what we want to do, you got to get the right pieces to the puzzle. And we think we got the right pieces to the puzzle now where those guys can play fast and those guys can play tough.
My biggest focus right now is trying to make sure we stay up and stay injury-free. That's the thing that's hurt us for the last couple of years since I've been here.
And the focal point will be Zarion Hayes, the fifth-year defensive end who followed up a second-team All-League selection last year with a preseason first-team All-SWAC nod this season. Registering the third most solo tackles and assists on the year, Hayes' impact was most prevalent behind the line of scrimmage. He led the team in tackles for loss, both total takedowns and yards earned.
We be working on in practice, stripping the ball out, getting the ball on the ground, and really just holding guys up and just trying to strip that ball out, get that ball. Because that's what we're going to need this year. The games we lost, I really try to suck that in. And really for this year, we're just going to come out there and bang every team like it's our last team. That's what we're going to do.
The Bulldogs remain optimistic about that side of the ball entering the season.
The theme is really get to the ball, get that ball out, and just have fun and have a lot of energy and compete at a high level and be focused and be motivated and be locked in.
For where we're at right now, I'm pleased, I'm happy. Like I said, if we can stay healthy, I like our chances.
A&M opens the 2023 slate on September 2nd at Vanderbilt, and they host Division II Lane College in their home opener on September 9th.
As always, we'll follow the Bulldogs from the beginning all the way to the end. Well, in the middle, there's a game that A&M fans constantly ask Coach Maynor about, and it's called the Magic City Classic. Thousands of fans flocking down to Birmingham to see the Bulldogs take on the team that's picked right above them in the preseason polls. Ranked above the Bulldogs are their arch rival, Alabama State. Former Hornet Eddie Robinson Jr. entering his second season in the Gump. Year one yielding a 6-win campaign and a third-place finish in the East Division. Coach Robinson explained to us why year two on the job will be better than year one.
Last year I felt like I was an administrator, just trying to make sure all of the ducks were lined up, paperwork and stuff like that. So for me, familiarity is better, just kind of knowing what to expect. There's always going to be those pitfalls and those crisis moments, but a lot happened last year. It was a busy year. It was a good year, and I learned a lot, so hopefully I can build on that.
One of the big wins for Alabama State in 2022 coming in Birmingham. In the waning moments of the Magic City Classic, Coach Robinson and the Hornets squeaking out a 24-17 victory over Alabama A&M, which was Coach Connell Maynor's first loss in the Magic City Classic. Coach Robinson and Maynor spoke to us about that game and why it was important to extend the rights at Legion Field for a few more seasons.
Legion Field has been great for us and Alabama State and the Classic just because of all the tailgating and everything that goes on all week long.
First of all, it's the Magic City Classic, so it has to be in the Magic City. So that's a no-brainer. And then I think just playing at Legion Field, just with the community involvement,
I think it's extremely important. Magic City in my opinion, belongs in Birmingham. It's a week long. It's a significant revenue generator.
Well, there are 4 new coaches in the SWAC this season, and they all took interesting to get here. We'll chat with the new coaches on the block next on the annual SWAC Special.
All right, welcome back, everyone. There are 12 teams in the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and this season, a third of those squads will have a first-year head coach at the helm.
All right, we start in Itta Bena, Mississippi, where the Delta Devils decided to bring back a former player to lead their program. Kendrick Wade enters year 1 as the head man in Mississippi Valley State. He had prior stops as a wide receiver coach and passing game coordinator at Fort Valley State and Delta State recently. He inherits a team that went 2-9 last season, but one of those wins against Coach Maynor and the Bulldogs late in the season was one of those too. Wade has taken a back-to-the-basics approach with his new team, and so far, the Delta Devils are making strides.
We got momentum going. You know, we've done a great job as far as weightlifting. These guys have done a great job as far as mastering and learning the playbook. So we're going to just tell them to keep the momentum going. Let's not lose all that we put in. So we always going to harp on always being your biggest critic, always stand in your playbook.
The Deion Sanders era is over at Jackson State, and in steps T.C. Taylor to lead the 2-time defending SWAC champs. Taylor, a Jackson State alumnus who played in the late 90s and early 2000s, has been on the Jackson State staff since 2019. The former all-league wide receiver was courted by other teams prior to the spring, but leading his alma mater was a no-brainer.
I played here, did some great things here. You know, my family is loved around the city. I'm loved around the city. We love the city. Family is right down the street in Pike County, so it was kind of a no-brainer to where I needed to be and where God wanted my feet to be, and that was right here in Jackson. So I'm grateful for the opportunity.
And rounding out our new coaches in the SWAC are Raymond Woody at Bethune-Cookman and Alonzo Hampton at Arkansas Pine Bluff. Like Kendrick Wade and T.C. Taylor, Woody is returning to his alma mater to lead the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. Hampton is also making a return of sorts. He did serve as the defensive coordinator at UAPB in the late 2000s.
Just having an opportunity to come back to Daytona, man, I just appreciate the administration for giving me a chance, you know, to come back to share some of the things that I've learned throughout my coaching career.
You know, it's only certain places that you're going to have a chance to even interview for, and Pine Bluff was one of the ones, and I knew if I ever got an opportunity, I would jump at the opportunity. And that's about transforming lives. It's not even about the other stuff. It's just about being able to make a difference in a community and so in a state.
All right, coming up next, we'll be locked on and locked in with Darian Gray, the Locked On HBCU podcast. We'll share some thoughts the upcoming season. That's next on our Sports Extra Special.
And we're back on our annual SWAC special right here on Sports Extra. Mo Carter joined by another guy that can always rock a shirt that says I am SWAC, and that is Darian Gray from the Locked On HBCU Podcast Network. Darian, always good to see you, man. Are you ready for some football?
I'm ready, man. I don't know why you threw that curveball at me, but I am ready for some football, and thanks for having me on the program for now the second year in a row.
Good deal, man. Look, let's kick it off with this. In the East Division, we know there's been a departure of Deion Sanders leaving Jackson State to go to Colorado. With that departure, do you think that opens the door for a team like Alabama A&M under Connell Maynor or Alabama State under Eddie Robinson Jr. to finally ascend to the top of the East Division?
I think that if I had to choose between the two, it's Alabama State. I like their defense. They had a really strong defense last year. Their offense wasn't that great, and to me, that's going to be another question this upcoming season. I had a friend of mine who was at the Alabama State scrimmage this past weekend, and it's not only a quarterback battle, but it seems to be two completely different offenses when you have Davis in there and when you have Stewart in there. That kind of throws me off. Hopefully they know who is going to be the leader in that competition, but I do wish that they name a starter, which is something we discussed off air about Jackson State, but I wish that they name a starter so that they maybe they can get a week of continuity to know what offensive system they're going to use. But right now, I'd probably say it opens the door most for FAMU, and then Alabama State is right behind them, and with good quarterback play, they could push for a SWAC championship this year.
Let's move over to the West Division. Southern University, my alma mater, is the preseason favorite to win the West Division. Coach Dooley and company, they've been to the championship game a number of times, but look, it's been 10 years since the Jaguars have brought the big trophy back to Baton Rouge. Do you think this is the year that it can be done, or do you see someone else coming out the West?
I don't think that Southern gets it done. I think they're in a 3-team mashup between them, Alcorn, and Texas Southern. My gut's just saying something special about TSU this year. It feels like the year that Andrew Body puts it together. There's some questions on the offensive line and defensive line that keep me from being overly confident and just stating it with an exclamation mark at the end. But I think it's going to be Alcorn or Texas Southern, and my gut is going to say Texas Southern. But if Southern themselves, the Jaguars, are going to get it done, is going to be probably off the arm of Harold Blood, who I believe is going to be the starting quarterback, was the SWAC Media Day representative. And the key for him is to make sure that you trust your playmakers, trust the great running backs that you have. I know the city knows about Gary Quarles, right? He'll be there with the Jaguars now. Trust the running game and then make the plays when you need to make the plays. And he has the arm to do it, which is one of the reasons that Eric Dooley chose him to be the SWAC Media Day representative and most likely the starting quarterback coming week 1.
All right, we talked about the East, we talk about the West. Now it's time to really, really put you to work, my friend. Give me a SWAC champion, and then will that team have the ability to finally get the SWAC off the schneid of winning a Celebration Bowl?
That's the hardest thing. I'm going to go with FAMU. I think Florida A&M is their year. They're trying to get over the hump the same way that Southern is. They've just been eluded by the Celebration Bowl by one game, or maybe a distinction of, oh, you don't have postseason play this year. It's been so close, but no cigar for FAMU for maybe 5 years in a row now. It's ridiculous, but I think that this is the year that they finally win the conference, make it to the Celebration Bowl. I do think that they're going to face Texas Southern. I'm going with my heart, even though my mind does say Alcorn. With their defensive line and their running back, it says say Alcorn. But my heart says something's up with Texas Southern this year, and I'm hoping that I can trust that. But overall, I think whether it's Alcorn or TSU, I think that FAMU is going to be the best team in the conference. I think they're going to come up victorious in the SWAC championship. And yeah, I think they have an opportunity to win the Celebration Bowl. It'll be a matchup and seeing how you play, but I don't think it's the SWAC just can't beat the MEAC, and I guess who better to get you off the schneid than the team you stole from the MEAC? So I'm going to go with FAMU.
Okay. And look, just on a final note, what are you looking forward to the most in the 2023 SWAC football season?
Can I cheat? Can I give you more than one? I'll make them.
Yeah. Go ahead and give me more than one, man.
Okay, first off, I'll try to keep it to 3 because there's so many things, and I go over this in more detail in my SWAC preview show that I had on Tuesday. But who the heck is Jackson State? We don't know. There's not many people who know what Jackson State is going to be, no matter how much you want to have confidence because that's your alma mater, that's your team. Who is Jackson State? That's a huge question for me. For me, it's my alma mater. Can Andrew Body be the guy we thought he was going to be last year? We had a lot of hype for him going into 2022, and he had moments, but can he put it together consistently? And if he can, then I think you will see Texas Southern be a conference champ, or excuse me, a division champion and a conference championship member. And then my last question is, who's going to come out the West? I think everybody kind of paints the picture like FAMU is going to come out the East and anything else will kind of be a surprise. But in the West, everything is so tightly contested. I have 3 teams that I think are going to be the 3 teams fighting for it. But you still got Grambling, who people feel going to be better in year 2 of Hugh Jackson. Prairie View, can't count them out. It's a lot of teams. Who comes out the West? Those are the 3 things that I'm looking forward to, and I tried to keep it as brief as possible.
Hey, I appreciate you always, Darian. Of course, you can always catch Darian on our partner syndicates with the Locked On Podcast Network. He is the specialist for HBCUs. Want to thank Darian once again for joining us right here on our Sports Extra Special. A look at SWAC 2023. We'll have more coming up after the break. All right, everyone, we usually wrap up our shows with the best of the week, but instead we decided to give you, the viewers, our take on what we think will be the most intriguing games of the year. Simon, you'll start things off.
All right, not to look too far ahead, but my most intriguing game of the SWAC slate is in Week 12. Bethune-Cookman and Florida A&M go at it in Orlando. The 25th edition of the Florida Classic being played in the City Beautiful, and I'm hopeful it's a little bit more competitive than last year when FAM won it by 3 scores. FAM will be playing a game against a school not even in the NAI ranks the week before, so they should be in good shape for this regular season finale. But BC will also be pretty comfortable, having the end of the year with 5 of their last 6 games either at home or no more than an hour and a half away. So the logistics are light. The Wildcats could come into form by season's end.
My intriguing game is the Orange Blossom Classic between Jackson State and FAMU. For the last 2 years, this is the game that's held Florida A&M back from winning the East and maybe the SWAC outright. Now I'm really excited to see, as Jackson State faces, of course, a new era with T.C. Taylor and Deion Sanders gone. And as Darian just said, who the heck is Jackson State? This game is Week 1, but it could set the tone right out of the gate for who's the front runner in the East, unless Alabama A&M or ASU have something to say about it.
November 4th, 2023 will be a huge day in the SWAC. Alabama A&M hosts Florida A&M. Alabama State and Mobile against Grambling. But in the West, Southern travels to the reservation to face Alcorn State. The Jags are riding a 2-game win streak against the Braves, but those games were in Baton Rouge. But playing in Lorman, Mississippi is a different story. Southern has only won 3 times at Alcorn in the past 20 seasons. This could be the game that decides the Western Division and who goes to the SWAC Championship. So lots of good games on the calendar, guys.
We have the bookends, too. We have Week 1 exciting, end of the season exciting. Middle's going to be exciting, too, because you said in the middle is the Magic City Classic.
No doubt, man, no doubt. All right, for Simon Williams and Nick Kuzma, I'm Mo Carter. Have yourself a great week, and we'll see you at the games.
Thanks for watching this special edition of Fox 54 Sports Extra, a look at SWAC 2023.